Well, hi everyone, and welcome to the Mesa Public Schools Virtual College Fair. We are so excited to have y'all participating in this event and have some really fantastic schools here with us today. My name is Karis, and I will be your facilitator for tonight. And so I have just a few housekeeping items to remind you of as we get started. The first one, you probably already have noticed, your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can, however, use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of the many different sessions happening tonight, and it will also be recorded and available to you at strivescan.com/Greater Arizona. Those are all of my announcements that I have for y'all, and so I will go ahead and turn it over to our first institution for the night, which is Biola University.
Okay, hello, my name is Lauren. I'm an admissions counselor and alumni of Biola University. Biola is a private Christian school in the heart of Southern California. We are about 15 minutes away from Disneyland. We're 25 minutes away from the beach, and we're about 30 minutes on a good traffic day from downtown Los Angeles. We have about 4,000 undergraduate students and 2,000 graduate students. So that makes up about a 6,000 person campus. It's a good medium size. And we're passionate about three things primarily. So one is our academic rigor. The second one being our Christian faith. And then the third one is our unbeatable social environment for our students. So just as an overview, we are a top tier best national university. We offer 40 different majors with 80 different accompanying concentrations. This slide shows you 9 of the top majors we have at Biola. We also have 2 different honors programs, one in the sciences and then one in the humanities. And yeah, I'm going to share a couple of our top majors for a little bit more specific experience. One of our top majors is our cinema and media arts major. Variety magazine and the Wrap rank Biola's film school as one of the top 50 film schools in the world. Students have access to use filming equipment the first day they step on Biola's campus, unlike other film schools when you need a couple years of experience in classes before you actually get to start making film on your own. And one of our alumni, Scott Derrickson, directed the Marvel movie Doctor Strange. Another really popular major at Biola is nursing. We have a brand new state-of-the-art science building on our campus with a simulation lab in the basement. And there are a lot of great clinical opportunities in hospitals in LA and Orange County. And just as you can see in this kind of stat above, niche.com ranks Biola as the 10th best nursing school in the state of California. There we go. Biola also has a great student to faculty ratio. It's 14:1. So that means that 72% of classes have 25 students or less. So that means that you really get to know your professors. I studied political science at Biola, and one of my favorite aspects of that major was that I had really small class sizes and I got to know one of my professors really well. He would invite us over to his house like a week before Christmas break, and we would have a huge white elephant gift exchange party as a whole political science department. That was really fun. And so we got to know him outside of class, and that really informed our education while we were in class too. So not only do we really value our rigorous academic programs, but we also value our Christian faith on campus. Every person on Biola's campus is a Christian, so that's students, staff, and faculty. And every student at Biola takes 10 Bible classes that are a part of their general education requirements. So all of our professors work to incorporate their Christian faith in their teaching. And Biola is a teaching university. So that means that professors are required to actually teach their classes. There aren't TAs at all teaching any undergraduate classes. Another part of our Christian education, Biola students are asked to go to 20 different chapels per semester. Chapels are kind of like small church services on campus, and Biola offers 9 of these every week. And they're all different. So there's student-led worship chapels, there's guided prayer chapels, there's like live podcast chapels, there's a big variety. And Biola really encourages students to pursue their relationship with God. So a couple admissions requirements. We do ask that students have a Christian faith. We ask that students have an unweighted GPA of 3.0 or higher, and they submit a personal essay about their relationship with God and why Biola makes sense for them as a school. Cool. I think my slides are a little bit out of order. Here we go. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say is that here's our overall tuition. 100% of our students receive at least one or more forms of financial aid. And so that starts with our academic scholarships. So when you apply to Biola and you give us your unweighted GPA from high school, you automatically qualify for at least $12,000 per year from the institution. And that can just go up to $21,000 per year based on your unweighted GPA. So students who have about a 4.0 qualify for $21,000 every single year from Biola. And then that trickles down to about $12,000 per year if you have a 3.0 or below. So that's the information I have for you all today. If you're interested, please scan this QR code and I will drop our application link and our different programs links for that in the chat.
Thanks so much. We will go ahead and turn it over to our next institution that we have for tonight, which is the University of California, Santa Cruz.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Diana Elizabeth Torres. I'm the UC Santa Cruz admissions rep, currently serving the state of Arizona. Thank you for joining us this evening. So to get us started, I thought I would start off by talking about the UC system, and then I'll go into talking about UC Santa Cruz. So the UC is one of the largest university systems in the world, offering both undergraduate and graduate programs on campuses located across the state. As you can see within the screenshot, some of us are located in northern, others in southern, and some are centrally located within the state of California. While we're all under one system, we share similarities, but we also have many differences as well. As students consider whichever campuses they might apply to, a few things to consider would be majors offered at each location, the location of each campus, size of the campus, as well as the full array of opportunities available at each of the UC campuses. We do encourage all students to apply broadly as well. No matter whichever campuses a student graduates from, they will have the prestige of earning a UC degree. Other things to consider would definitely be like campus size. I feel like campus size is really important. Some students want the feel of like a large, busy campus, while others thrive on smaller campuses. Other things to know would be that some of our UCs do have medical centers like UCLA, UC Irvine. Others have School of Laws like UC Berkeley and UC Davis. So it's always important that you do a little bit of research to continue learning more about the specific UCs. If you're interested in applying to the UC, here's a timeline to keep in mind. Every year, the application becomes available on August 1st. However, the filing period is in the month of November, the 1st through the 30th. The reason why the application becomes available early on is because we do ask for a lot. You have to include all of your personal information, your school information, all of your coursework, what you have done from freshman year, all the way to what you have planned for your senior year, as well as everything that you do outside of the classroom. So that includes extracurriculars, volunteer work, community service, employment if maybe you held a job, as well as answering 4 different responses from a total of 8 questions that you have to choose from. Now it is one application, and through that one application, you can apply to all 9 undergraduate campuses. And there is an application fee, which is $70 for US students. However, some students are able to receive waivers through like the NACAC or like College Board as well. Once you submit the application, you'll hear back from UCs in the months of February and March. Most students do hear back by mid-March through their respective UC campus student portals. So with that, I do want to note that the UC does not participate in any early action or early decision programs. If you're interested in applying to the UC, there are 2 things that we look for in applicants. One is your 15 courses, the minimum of your 15 courses in what is known as the subject areas. So having English, math, science, language other than English, and the list goes on. The more that you have within this, the more competitive you become overall. This is one of the requirements, and the second requirement would be the minimum of a 3.4 GPA for out-of-state students. Again, the higher the GPA, the more competitive you become overall as an applicant. So if you're interested in applying to the UCs, we are one system, one application, and these are the two minimum requirements. Now a little bit about UC Santa Cruz. So UC Santa Cruz is one of the UCs within the UC system. We're located up in Northern California. If you're familiar with Southern California, like the LA area, we are about 5 driving hours, and we're an hour and a half south of San Francisco. We are a coastal university, and we're sitting within 2,000 acres worth of redwood forest. As you can see within this slide and my virtual background, we are in a very unique living environment. All of our buildings, academic and residential, are intertwined within the redwood trees. You'll see deer roaming freely. We have turkeys as well at UC Santa Cruz. So if you're looking for a very peaceful green campus, we're definitely for you. While we are large in location, we are actually the second smallest UC when it comes to student enrollment, and primarily an undergraduate institution. So all of the opportunities are for you to take advantage of, such as internships and research. You will definitely find research across all of the UCs. So keep that in mind, and I do want to invite you all to consider doing research. With that in mind, we do have 69 majors and 40 minors that fall under 5 academic divisions. As you can see within this slide, some of the popular majors include computer science, business management, economics, and film and digital media, among many others. At UCSD, we actually don't consider your major as part of our admissions process, so we do not admit by major, with the exception of one, which is computer science. So if you are undecided as far as like what major you might want to go into, you can always go in undeclared. And all students have their first 2 years to really explore the fields and find the best fit for them. And by the end of your second year, that is by when you have to declare a major on our campus. Within all of our academic programs, like I said, research is being conducted, and 75% of our undergraduates do participate in research before they graduate. So that is something that we're very proud of as a campus. Students are not competing, but rather working collaboratively on projects together alongside with their professors or faculty at UCSD. Within our campus, students will find many ways to get involved. We have over 200 plus clubs and organizations, everything from like ethnic, career, religious, and lifestyle options. We have also competitive sports and a ton of recreational activities such as hiking, biking, surfing, and a lot of outdoor, like I said, activities that you can engage in. Now, our beautiful environment isn't the only advantage. We're also the closest UC to Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is this innovative industry where many of the tech companies are located, so like Amazon, Twitter, Google, just to name a few. And many students from all academic fields and backgrounds get internships there during their studies, as well as jobs after they graduate. If you know that that's something that you want to go into, we are definitely the campus for you. Last but not least, at UCSD, we have the Undergraduate Dean Scholarship and Award for out-of-state and international students. Ranges from $12,000 to $40,000, split over 4 years for freshmen. And these awards are intended to offset non-resident tuition. Students are considered for this scholarship during the admissions cycle and considers academic preparation, such as courses, GPA, and accomplishments within the context of opportunities. If you want to keep learning more about UC Santa Cruz, I do encourage you to scan this QR code, and it'll take you to fill up like a quick form, and you'll receive updates from our campus as far as like events. And definitely do follow us on social media. And I'm here to answer any questions through the Q&A. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Well, we will keep things going with our next institution, which is Soka University of America.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Chelsea, and I'm part of the staff at Soka University of America. I'm very happy to introduce you to us tonight. We are a small private liberal arts college in Southern California. We have about 100 acres surrounded by wilderness protected area, just on the outside of suburbia and the town of Aliso Viejo, California, the traditional and contemporary homeland of the Hachiman people. We are 3 miles inland of the ocean, but you cannot actually see water from Soka. The reason that people gravitate towards our university is because they align with our mission statement, which is to foster a steady stream of global citizens committed to living a contributive life. The word Soka itself is a translation of the Japanese concept value creation. So by being a Soka student, you are creating value with your life with an intention to live and contribute towards society. Soka has 450 students, so we're a very small intentional community, and at least 40% of our students are international. Our first year class this year alone has 23 countries represented. We are a fully residential community, so students do live all 4 years on our campus. We offer a singular major, the BA in Liberal Arts, which we believe is the most interdisciplinary and transferable degree path. But we do have 5 concentrations that allow students to focus in. We are very well known for our study abroad program. We conduct independent research through the Capstone Research Project for seniors, and Soka has a 7-to-1 student to faculty ratio, so very high touch. Our average class size is 12, and we use dialogue discussion-based learning. We compete in NA athletics for 5 teams, and we are very well known also for our merit and need-based financial aid, which is comprehensive. Our general education at Soka focuses on Eastern and Western perspectives. Soka is a non-sectarian university, but very proudly founded on the Buddhist principles of peace, human rights, and the sanctity of life. So we do tend to really look at things from a comparative lens, which is why our world map focuses on the Pacific Basin as opposed to the Atlantic Ocean. Soka's study abroad program happens in our junior year. Our students prepare for that by taking at least 4 semesters of classes in a non-native language of either Japanese, Mandarin Chinese, French, or Spanish. Then when they study abroad for that semester of their junior year, we enroll them at a local university and they're taking their full course load in that language. We think it's a really important step for helping our students, again, become global citizens. And because it is a graduation requirement, it is built into the cost of tuition, so it will make up the difference. There are exceptions for our undocumented students and students who have health reasons that cannot safely leave the country. Soka has 5 concentrations: environmental studies, humanities, international studies, life sciences, and social behavioral sciences. Students do not declare till the end of their 2nd year because we want them to really figure out their path. That said, our concentrations are not preset, so students do get to work with their faculty advisor on choosing the classes that will set them up for success. About a third of our students will continue on to higher levels of education after graduating from Soka. In terms of residential life, you can see at the bottom, our students are always living with a roommate, but only sharing a private bathroom between the 2 of them. We try to mix international and domestic students. Soka has a wide plethora of student services to really help people succeed in our campus communities. That includes mental health resources, career services, the Office of Disability Services, which does both academic and residential accommodations, and a full meal plan. Additionally, we make sure students have opportunities to really get engaged and become leaders on campus through about 30 different student clubs. We have 13 affinity groups that are based on specific identities, everything from the Black Student Union to Jewish Student Coalition, a very active student government that makes policy recommendations, as well as on-campus job opportunities, service engagement like our alternative spring break, residential life programming, as well as recreation programming, so students have good physical fitness as well. Here are some sample posters from our residential life team that really, again, emphasize self-care, taking care of each other, prioritizing community building, celebrating different identities, and learning some life skills. You also notice Soka is a very foodie campus. These are our 5 teams that compete in the NAIA, CalPAC Division, men and women's soccer, cross country, track and field, swimming and diving, and women's golf. Majority of Soka athletes are actively recruited and are competitive national qualifying eligible students, but we do take walk-ons as well. So about 20% of our student body will participate in athletics. Our admission process is currently open for fall 2022. Our early action deadline is November 1st. It is non-binding. Students will have all the way until May 1st to make their commitment to the university. Otherwise, our regular decision deadline is January 15th. Soka requires application form. We are a Common App school, $30 application fee or qualifying fee waiver, official transcripts for any high school or college classes taken, English proficiency requirement for non-native speakers. 2 letters of recommendation, 2 SOCA supplementary essays, a list of extracurricular activities, and we are test optional for fall 2022. We practice holistic admission, so we do not have minimum GPAs or anything of the sort. Instead, we are really looking at students, again, who align with our academic offerings, our intentional campus community, as well as our mission statement. SOCA's tuition is just above $32,000 and our room and board is $13,000. 98% of our students last year received need-based financial aid. Primarily, it's the SOCA Opportunity Grant. For families who make under $60,000, SOCA will cover the full amount of tuition, stacking on top of Pell or Cal Grant eligibility. For families who make more than that, it's a sliding scale. And this is for our undocumented students, our international students, and our domestic students alike. We offer merit scholarships that are renewable all 4 years, up to $15,000, as well as continuing student scholarships around $20,000, $15,000, or a full ride. Athletes will get things stacked on top of that. The majority of SOCA students do borrow to come to SOCA, either in their own name or in a PLUS loan, but they're borrowing below the national average, and our default rate is 0. So we're very happy about that. Last year, we awarded close to $14 million in institutional aid. We are a staff of 5. There are 4 domestic counselors and 1 international counselor at SOCA. Jimmy King is actually the person who represents and helps support students from Arizona, but anyone in our office is happy to answer questions about the institution. And we encourage you to follow us on social media so you can get an inside look if you are not able to come to campus yourself. Thank you very much.
As a reminder, if you all have any questions, I would encourage you to go ahead and type those in the Q&A feature, and we will get to those as we can. But I will turn it over to our second to last institution for the night, which is Chapman University.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole. I am an admission counselor at Chapman University. I'm not the specific admission counselor for Arizona. I'll be putting her contact information in the chat a little bit later. But I'm also an alum from Chapman, so I loved my time there so much that I wanted to end up working. Going into Chapman's, oh no, there we go. Going into Chapman's general information about our population, our undergraduate and graduate students combined make up about 10,000 students on campus. And we have an average class size of 24 with a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So you're getting a really nice personalized education, but at the same time, you're not going to be walking around a campus into every single person. So you still have a little bit of room to broaden your network and meet new people. Even in your last year at Chapman, you're still going to be able to meet new people. We have a very close-knit community, especially with our professors on campus. They really want to get to know students beyond just the classroom. They want to help you in your personal life, make sure the transition is going well. My favorite story to tell is that when I was a freshman at Chapman, one of my professors invited any students who needed a place to go during Thanksgiving. If they couldn't go home for Thanksgiving, they could actually go to his house and spend it with his family. So that's just a really great example of the type of community and culture that we have on campus. We have a wide variety of different majors and minors that we offer, as well as a wide variety of students coming from all over the world. And also about 53% of our students do study abroad at some point. We really emphasize that global aspect. There's multiple different ways that you can study abroad, whether that is a whole semester, maybe a month, or a summer, a spring break trip. Those are all offered to students. Talking a little bit about our location at Chapman. This is an aerial view of our campus. We have a very lively campus, a lot of hustle and bustle happening, people walking in between classes. But we are located in the heart of Orange County. You've got Disneyland super close, as well as the Angels Stadium. Huntington, Newport, and Laguna Beach are all about 20 minutes away. And if you're looking to go to the mountains to ski or snowboard, you can get there in about an hour and a half. There's this thing called the Chapman Challenge, where students try and go to the beach, the mountains, and then the Disneyland fireworks all in one day, and you try and fit it in. We're also super close to LA, San Diego, and the weather is beautiful year round. Moving into some of the professional opportunities that we're connected with, Chapman students have a wide network within the industry. Chapman students also look to hire other Chapman students, which is wonderful. And especially within our film department, we're currently ranked number 4 in film schools. And so a lot of times students will be able to utilize those connections through professors or other students and get amazing internships at jobs at places like Lionsgate or Fox or Target, these really big corporations. A little bit about campus expansion. We have our Keck Center for Science and Engineering. This is a brand new center that just opened recently. It has amazing facilities, state-of-the-art equipment. There's rooms filled with 3D printers, a lot of amazing lab spaces as well. Really across all of our programs, what we like to emphasize is getting your hands dirty on day one. So whether that is doing research your freshman year or starting to collaborate in the film industry your freshman year, producing your own dance performance, whatever it might be, we encourage students to start doing projects as soon as possible. And you don't have to sit and learn in a classroom for 3 years before you even do anything on your own. We also have our new dance center that should be opening within a couple of years. It's being built right now, but that space will be really wonderful as well. Talking a little bit about our past application year, the one thing that I want to focus on the most is that 74% of our students applied as test optional. So you absolutely do not have to submit any SAT or ACT scores, if you don't want to. We are not test blind. So if you want to submit scores, we will look at them with your application, but they're not required. A little bit more about what we focus on. We have a holistic review of your application. So we're not just going to look at one thing. We look at the academics that you're offering us, your GPA, what classes you took, and in combination with your area of study. So for example, if you're going to a science-based major, we're going to look to see that you have a little bit more rigor in your science and math classes and that you're also excelling in that section. Same goes for if you are applying to a talent-based major, you're going to have some more application supplemental questions that you'll have to submit along with a possible resume or audition, portfolio, that sort of thing. We're also going to look at your community impact and involvement. We want to see students who are doing extracurriculars. Maybe they're the captain of their sports team or involved in service work after school. So it's definitely not only focused on the academic side. We want to make sure that we're getting well-rounded students as well. And then of course, there's that Chapman fit aspect. We want to make sure that students who are coming on campus are going to benefit from our community while also enhancing it at the same time. Talking about financial aid and scholarship money, we have our merit-based scholarships, which you're automatically considered for when you apply to Chapman. There's no separate application. These range anywhere from $12,000 to $36,000 and are renewable every single year as long as you maintain a 2.7 GPA. We also have departmental scholarships. This is going to be something that you would reach out to the department to if you end up coming to Chapman. These range based on the department and also when you're coming in, which year, and sometimes more departments have more money to offer. It just varies. We also have our need-based aid through the FAFSA. This is loans, grants, gift aid, work study, that is all included there. About 86% of our students do receive some sort of financial aid. This is also in combination with any merit-based aid, so we're never going to take money away from you just because you receive it from somewhere else. Here's a bunch of different QR codes to follow us on Instagram. I'm also going to put a link in the chat that gives you access if you ever want to visit campus, either virtually or in person, as well as the email to your admission counselor specifically for Arizona.
All right, and we have one more institution here with us tonight, and that will be the University of San Diego.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here today. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to share my screen. While I'm doing that, my name is Monique Lynch, and I am an admissions counselor for the University of San Diego. We are located in San Diego, California, and we are a mid-sized private Catholic liberal arts institution. And one of the biggest things that we're about is envisioning or helping our students envision their horizon. So what it might look like for them to come to USD. So first, our student population, we have 5,500 undergraduate students on campus and 3,000 graduate students. So we're about 9,000 students on campus. 48% of which are out-of-state students, 7% are international students. We have 41% of students of color on campus, and then 40% of our students identify as Catholic. So we like to answer the common questions. Do you have to be Catholic on campus? The answer is no. 60% of our students are actually another faith background or don't have a faith background. Either way, everybody is welcome to come to USD. And then another question that has to do with that is, do we require our students to take a religious course requirement? And the answer is yes. We have two, a lower division and an upper division course. Both of them must be taken within the Department of Theology and Religious Studies. And that kind of opens up the door for our students to learn about whatever religion they might have been wondering about, or any faith that they have come across and they want to learn more about it, or something as simple as taking a Bible study class every class period. So lots of options for our students. As for our education, I mentioned we try to provide our students a liberal arts education. Basically, we're all about free inquiry. So we want our students to kind of explore and see what they're interested in and what their passions are. They have until the second semester of their sophomore year to select their major. And so we offer up 41 majors, additional options for minors and concentrations, and pre-professional advising for our students who are going into pre-health or pre-law. But we are encouraging them to take their time and see what they might be interested in instead of selecting their major right as they get in. And so just to clarify, all of our students are accepted as undeclared, and then they have those 2 years to decide what they want to do. We also like to emphasize our small classroom sizes. So our average class size is 21, and our students to faculty ratio is 12:1. And we believe having these small classroom sizes gives our students an intimate learning environment to get to know their professors and their peers, network, build those relationships, which kind of gives them the foundation they need to be successful after college. Things we have on campus: we have 180 clubs or organizations, Division I athletics. We are part of the West Coast Conference. We also have club and intramural sports for the students who want a more relaxed experience with sports. 27% of our student population participate in fraternity and sorority life. So we have 9 fraternities and 9 sororities. We also have spaces on campus called the Commons. So the Commons are physical spaces that are designated towards certain identity groups. So we have the Black Student Resource Commons, the LGBTQ+ and Allies Commons, the United Front Multicultural Commons, and the Women's Commons. So these spaces are designated towards these students, but we encourage all students to go into these spaces, learn about different cultures and identities that are different or similar to them. We are also in San Diego. So we're America's finest city. That's our nickname. We are the 8th largest city in the United States, and the 2nd largest city in the state of California. So we have so many things to offer to our students off campus in the city. We are essentially located, so about 10 minutes from the majority of our things that our students like to do in the city of San Diego. Another big thing, we are all about studying abroad and creating change in the world. So we're an Soka Changemaker campus, which means that we are one of 42 campuses in the world that have an ongoing commitment to social justice, social innovation, entrepreneurship, sustainability, and global perspective. So these are the things that we look for in prospective students to kind of gauge if they would be a good fit for USD. We also want them to create change in their communities as well as in other countries. So 80% of our student population go abroad each year, over 80 programs in 30 different countries. So you could take a globe, spin it, put your finger down, and there's more than likely a program there where your finger landed. Double degree programs in the School of Business, where a student can get a degree from USD and a degree from another institution over in Europe. And then our satellite campus, which is in Madrid, where students get the same small learning environment that's intimate and the same culture of care and the classroom sizes that they get at USD, except they are in Madrid. And then some information about our application process. So we have one application deadline for first year students. It's December the 15th. We do not have early action or early decision, and we are on the Common app. We have the personal essay, of course, and as well as the USD member questions that only come to USD. And those questions are going to be about being a change maker in the world, in your community, or in your family. We look at our high school transcripts from 9th grade to 12th grade. We also accept up to 3 letters of recommendation, but one of them has to be from a counselor or teacher. The other 2 can come from anyone. The options are endless. We also have, for our international applicants, they have to have a TOEFL score of at least 80, an IELTS score of at least 6.5, or a Duolingo score of at least 110. The application fee is $55, but we encourage all of our students to see if they're eligible for a fee waiver through the Common App or speak to their high school counselor and see what they would need to do in order to get a fee waiver. And USD is test free, so that means we're not looking at test scores for this application cycle. If you have a senior, or if you are a senior, we are not looking at test scores. Moving forward, we're hoping to stay along with the same practice, but for sure right now, our seniors who are applying to come for fall 22 will not have to submit their ACTs or SATs. And then lastly, here's my contact information. I'm also going to post something in the chat, but I'm in the middle. My name is Monique, and I'm over all the students in Arizona. So if you'd like to email me, there is my email, but I will put some more information in the chat. Thank you.
As we wrap up tonight, I have just a few questions for each of our presenters. And so if they will go ahead and turn their cameras back on, we will get kicked off with our first question. And then I will just ask that they respond in the same order they went in tonight. So my first question for y'all is, what advice do you have someone going through the college search process?
Okay, so my advice would be, think of like what you really love. And I think that should be something that fuels what you want to study. I think there's a lot of times that people put a lot of pressure on finding the exact perfect job for them and then going backwards to figure out like what major is the best. But I think sometimes that's a little bit too far thinking in the process. You can balance that out a little bit with just understanding what would you actually like to take classes on for 4 years and having that kind of steer you toward something you'd want to do.
I would say to do your research, which is probably very common, but do your research, right? I feel like through this pandemic and this virtual era, you are able to meet with any university across not only California, within the country, but outside of the country. So I think that is a very like unique experience, and also to enjoy it. I feel like often we get very caught up in wanting to, you know, get everything right, fill all the applications up, making sure we're meeting all of our deadlines, which of course is very important, but also enjoying the process, right? Learning about all the different universities, because it is a very, like I said, unique experience and also once in a lifetime.
I love this. One very tangible thing I would say is be thoughtful about the email address you use when you apply to the university, because oftentimes if you're using a school account, make sure to notify the college later on in the process, because that's what they're going to continue connecting with you and using, you know, in July, in June, and August about enrollment process. So just be mindful of that.
I think my biggest piece of advice, as cliche as it might sound, is to make sure that you're being as honest and true to yourself as possible throughout the whole application process. Don't think about what we want to hear from you. Don't think about what's the right thing to say. Try and be as genuine and truthful, and then your true self will shine through. And that's what we're looking to see to begin with. So that's my biggest piece.
Something very close to what Nicole just mentioned. Definitely try to look for fit. Part of explaining, you know, I'm being honest and truthful in the process. It helps show that you're a good fit at a certain university and what universities are not a good fit for you. Because sometimes you might look at one and you know, you really want to go, so you're just going to do whatever you need to do to get there. And sometimes it's just not a good fit. So try to find universities that are a good fit to who you are truly.
All right, and then my final question that I have is, what's one thing you want students to remember about your school?
I probably would say our faith incorporation with our learning. So we pride ourselves in really strong academics and a really strong value to the Christian faith, like I explained in the presentation. But those two things coincide with each other. And so if you're going to Biola, you're wanting to study life from a biblical worldview, and for that to fuel what you do after you leave.
I feel like this is a hard question. There's so many things that I would want you all to remember. But specifically about UC Santa Cruz, and something that I did not share is that we are home with the banana slugs. That is our mascot. And it's a very unique mascot. And that our campus is very welcoming. You will definitely find a community among the banana slug family.
I think for Soka, just to bear in mind that there's institutions out there that have very few number of students. And so, we say small, we mean small.
I think for Chapman, it's just that we have so many opportunities on campus and we want to make sure that students are staying well-rounded and taking advantage of them. So that the average student on campus isn't just going home and then going to class. They're involved with a multitude of different things on campus and really getting involved and trying out new outlets.
Here we go. So for the University of San Diego, I would say I want you all to remember that there's a true culture of care here. I like to say that there's a culture of care for everybody, including staff and faculty. And there's really this piece of you can't pour out of a cup. And so they truly pour into us. We are able to pour into our students and provide a certain type of student support that it's hard to get some other places. So I would say that's something to share about USD.
Well, perfect. Thank you all so much for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a quick 5-question survey. And so we would just appreciate any feedback that you can provide us tonight. This is the last session of the night, and you will be able to find all of these recordings as well as all the other session recordings at strivescan.com/Greater Arizona. Thanks all so much. Enjoy the rest of your night. All right, bye-bye.